Anybody here? Yes. Okay. Page number 9. Dunja namka lama ba me ba lang kor sanju simba pa de me be kor ngu se yo ba chum.
In the space in front appears the Guru in the form of Amitabha, surrounded by an inconceivable retinue of bodhisattvas.
Namo concho sam dan tsawa sam jane nam la cha sun chi ro gon san ji lang gu chi chan chun cho de sim ji an tom.
Namo, to the three jewels and the three roots, the places of protection, I go for refuge. In order to establish all beings in Buddhahood, I give rise to the mind set on supreme awakening.
Page number 28. Hon ran re nang wan ta ye ke zon den char ve sem la de nang wan ta ye lo na me ran re chu ke ngom ca che.
Hong, innate awareness is the form of Amitabha. Look at the mind that is free of subject-object duality. There is no other Amitabha than that. How wondrous is the truth body of self-knowing awareness.
Oh yeah. Translator here. Ina, are you here?
Rinpoche, let me do a quick check. Yeah, she's here, but Ina, I think you're on mute.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that Changma Kitara, Nimba, the Amadeva, Kalesa, Hos on Amadeva, on Amadeva, softly.
Everyone, please
That's right, huh? Chiran Taja, the Kabli Tesari. That ring around Chuti there. Tene Dewachi and Chibi Ju Nanke, Tene Ju Nipa. Chosa Dubjan Shipatin, Bas Jetambo Tin, Choyan Santi Nipa Chosa Dubjan.
So today, coming back to the teachings, we're talking about the 4 causes of birth in Dewachen, and today we talk about the second cause, which is the cause of accumulating merit and purifying obscurations.
Ta Dona Narang ta Devachina, Ndondu Tumo Main Baji Sosolo you go yore. Te Indu, Tate Rosa, that Devachi Shinkams, Shinkam, the Sanji Zun and Answer go to your was. Good day, Ditini, Tangarantina and Rondu go yores. That's Sanji Kappa, Mangol Kable, huge jamne. Lot Tongsu Mangol Kable jam do kong. Kable jamnetini, Sosa Dubjan Senetini, Devachi Shente, Drubure, then drummed. Da Konrek Dewa Pami Gitan Dordina Reva, Naranso Te Yunya, Gugdi, Red and the Tinning Aransol Tatana, Rondu Law. Tumoma in Pachi go yore, and the Tatanan Royalata. Tigati Zenandra, Takondrochi, Lakshad Zenandra, Tangaran Solatini, Ndondug Loyuba, Tani, Ndrochi Jo, Sosa, Japajang doas.
So, to be born in Dewachen, we must have a very wish to be born in Dewachen. So, the Buddha Amitabha
Rinpoche, I think Ina has dropped and I think she's rejoining. So we'll give her a couple more minutes.
All right, I'm sorry. I
She's
changed
back.
my internet connection.
Thank you.
All right, so let me start over. I'm sorry. So in order to be born in Dewachen, we need to have a very strong wish to be born there, a very special wish, because the Buddha Amitabha is there. He created that Pure Land, and now he's there waiting for us. And so now it's up to us that we really want to actually go there, because that Buddha, he had worked so hard for many aeons, for thousands and thousands of years. He did all of these things so that he could create this Pure Land. He accumulated and he purified obscurations, and then finally he created the Pure Land of Dewachen. And now it's his hope that we come there. He's waiting for us to come there. And therefore, on our part, we need to have a special wish to actually go there. And so that cause of wanting to go there is just like your an airplane ticket or your entrance ticket to somewhere. That makes you, it's your entry tickets that helps you go there. And so that is the wish of actually going there. And so with that wish, we accumulate merit and we purify obscurations.
Tene sanji 가래진 산지에 밤이 가래진 갑래 잠는데 대화지 신데 주바르세나스 tene 산지에 밤에 샘지 탐지를 제와 여러 와서 제와 산지 뭐chấp 제와 여래 샘지 탐지를 동화 산지 뭐chấp 여래 tene 때 하고네 tene 동화 때레 졸거나 당안서 남주 탈바다 탐진지 공방세야 tene 때 토고 여러 와서 tene 다랑안서 레 담보바 간사 남지 람사 탐진 진부 공방 톱투고요 말와스 대 톱고 미디 전에 딱 동하드 용거라 동하드 용데 내가 동안에 야 럼파인데 야 조고로 럼파인데 조는데 오 당에 대화지 신지 존에 심지 탐지기 치드 전에 대화지 신감든 창마 용토바 그러 창마 용토바 전에 전에 랩sana 심지 탐지를 드니 동하면도 와스 드니 럼파인데 드니 럼파긴데 드니 야 탈바드 탐지 진부 공방 럼파시드 드니 톱토야 다 탑람 드르진도 고네 드니 공게다 대화지 신감데 주바레스 나라서 가서 행 탐지가 나네 대화지 신데 체바람 파고 요래서야 다 동다 가르시나 산지기 신감 탐지가 용딘데 대화지 신감나네 요래스 얘나의 신감 인발라 당안서 레 담보바제난라 다 반도의 용딘 통포미나 신감 인반로 투고요 말해 신감 인반로 투고 미디 근데 대화지 신감드나 창만로 투고요 다 대체받은 파세야 돼 디디는 파고요 벤낭 안서 빼지 야나와 빼지 야나 다 민康인도 지 빼야나 민康이 다 민康이들 빼착이 야부 할래야 처진 야부요 봤지 처진 할래야 야부요 디나는 민박해 봐야 빼야부 코니 민바도 처진 자전자나 레데오나 민康집데 난다나마나 빼 롭송침보 롭송침보지 민간 집데 난다나마나 롭송 가양 마고치 갑도 돈트바 머스이나 돈트바 민간 집데 나나 빼 공세 침보 인사들 뭐 조용조 무슨 로투고요 말아 빼는 멋진 나차요나 조용조 무슨 로투고요 말아 집데 나나 조미나야 고 민간 집데 나나 로투고요 나차요나 로와 조미나야 로투고요 때인데 다 민간 때니 빨라 낭게 용딘 차진 집바리데 얘는 디난다나 말아 뭐 존올롬주 최종게 때니 제발 정도 때니 따라 뭐 조미선 로투자 다 때고 제발좀 파는 거라 이거 민간데 빼디나이 산지기 신康탐지 신康탐지 용딘 집바리 어바미 용딘의 신康용딘 상대 요르스 얘는야 당 안아 졸라 제 사람게 반도 용딘 첨보 미장 근데 따라 공부시 봐. 근데 대화지는 집에 주였잖아. 라버드 대화지는 로고선 눈바 당 대바요나 근데 산지에 밤에 코랑게 투기 몰라게 되네. 근데 대신 가는 제투부 유디 다 대화지 신데 제바드 되네. 디나네 하고요레스.
And so why is it not that the Buddha Amitabha did all of this, worked so hard to create this pure land of Dewachen? It is because the Buddha Amitabha has an incredible love for all sentient beings. And he sees this incredible suffering of all sentient beings. And he knows that in order for them to become liberated from suffering, they need to attain that state of liberation and all-knowingness. And so for a beginning practitioner, we can't just instantly go there and achieve that state. And so because of that, we have to experience a lot of suffering. But we have to step by step gradually liberate ourselves from that suffering. And so that is why he had the intention, I must create this Pure Land of Dewachen. It's for those sentient beings. So therefore, it's a place where anyone can go. All beings can go there. And then once we are there, there is no suffering there. And once we are there, we can gradually continue the path and attain the state of liberation and omniscience there. And for that purpose, so that we can practice there, the Buddha Amitabha had created that Pure Land of Dewachen. And so the Pure Land of Dewachen is said to be superior to all the other Pure Lands. And the reason is that, so we have said that in the Pure Land of Dewachen, all the qualities of all the other Pure Lands are actually complete. So they are basically the same. However, a beginning practitioner, normal people, don't have the realization and the various qualities of renunciation and so on. We don't have these exalted qualities, and therefore ordinary people cannot go to those exalted higher Pure Lands. But everyone can go to Dewachen, and this is what makes it really superior to all the other Pure Lands. For example, imagine you have two hospitals and they are exactly the same. They have the same equipment, the same skilled doctors, physicians. They're exactly the same. They're both excellent hospitals. But then one hospital is really expensive and the other hospital is free. You can just walk in, anyone can come. Only rich people can go to that expensive hospital if they're sick. And the ordinary folks cannot go to the expensive hospital when they're sick. So they have no money, but they can go to the free hospital. So the free hospital has exactly the same qualities. The equipment inside and the doctor, everything is the same. But the difference is just the expense, what can you afford? That is the only thing that makes the difference. And so for this reason, because they're the same in terms of quality, the free hospital is superior to the expensive hospital because everyone can go there. And so similarly, the qualities of all the Pure Lands, of all the Buddhas, are complete within Amitabha's Pure Land. So in terms of qualities, they are the same. But then, as he said before, unless one has high qualities of realization on the bhumis and the paths, one cannot go to any of those other Pure Lands. But anyone can go to Dewachen if one creates the 4 causes of birth in Dewachen, and especially the cause of birth in Dewachen is to have a wish of really genuinely wanting to go there, to have faith in Amitabha and the Pure Land. And that was Amitabha's compassionate aspiration, that all of these beings, if they have faith and they really want to go there, can be born there. So anyone can be born there, and that is why it is superior.
Da Dewachen Shena Ro Goditini Chosa Drip Jang se Mayan Sondor Dina Sunam ko Chosa Godoas Sunam ke Chosa na Tini Dewachen Ro Godoas Dewachin bo Toku Doas Penangana Dewa Chungyang ko Sunam ke Tini Toku Yorwas Penatarang so Ndwara Jogunani Mogulutin Raw Chayanaya, Tini Molutin Lion the Tess Azubuk Detang, Pamjur, Sone Chepper Doas, De Courage and Chepper in Guyusina, Sunam Sam Masagatini, Tene Sunam Chechong with the Tinitara, and David the Tess Melina, Tess Chepper Julu Doas. Penang Honsuna Sagan Majina Savaya Pundu to Doas. Lekaya Pulaman Road was the Tamjiko, Sunam Sadiptini, and Revachagure, Penanganas and Dojachiro Banana. Sunam Dimp May Samdun Rupuyo, on those Sunam Sayabayana, Samdun Ruptapatia, Jutang, Sojin and Muggin Juntang, Muggin Namdugan in Rubdip Zone Roging as in Tungur. Inea Tunga Chani Shena, Sunam Guteni, Churana Namdu and Yure. Sunam Gitini, Chirang and Juntaya Yuri, Sunam Latine, Tini Chirang Charginagi in Rotuguris. Tende sunana tene sendo ga yan dechi trinse rim thugu yodi tene ta dechi de ngana ta changmal go yodi tene dechi gi jo ta suna de ni part sa go yores pena tarang ngana so sendo pena lo ja tha sa ga chi de tang ngana so kable shu ja go yora pu chung chung ne zone tene ngana so che lob yon ro ya tene rim pa gen de tene le ka chi ya the shuji kable jakor chen de chi bi ta pen lo ja zan ne ta chi de zam na ti nga chu kable shuji jakor yor was teni ta dewa chi shin ne chi ala teni nga chu ta su nam sa ta sa ro kare se na chen de lo jap tha sam chi de nga chu kable debe chi de kable shuji jakor yo na ta chi wa cherab lo mbum cha dong zo ma bu pe dewa le zok ba mi pa 다 된적이 치다 되는 맞을 수 없는 싸고도 되는 수 없는 싸고레스 대인데 다 수남 싸야를 되니 수남 싸인데 다 탑람 남중 안에서 따라 조 인라 능지 거네 되니 저 수남 초싸야 그러와 파드바장야 다도 참마 인랍도 동그 거네 되니 맞을 남주 싸장 되는 난거 요레스
So if you want to take birth in Dewachen, we need to accumulate merit and purify obscurations. So if you accumulate merit, you can be born in Dewachen. And in Dewachen, you experience immeasurable bliss and happiness. But even the smallest happiness that we experience also comes from merit. It all comes from merit. For example, within the 6 realms of samsara, for example, the human birth as a precious human being, we experience a greater level of physical well-being and also economic well-being and so forth. So we are generally better off as a precious human being, and that is because of the merit that we have created in the past. And even within human beings, there are many differences depending on the merit that was created. So for this reason, seeing that because it all depends on merit, we have to create merit to experience happiness. So that's also said in the Vast Display Sutra. It says that a person that has great merit will accomplish all their wishes. So if you have created great merit, whatever you do, your activities will be successful because of the merit that you have created. For example, you have the outer maybe resources and intelligence and so forth. And these are all things that maybe we can see outer appearances. But also, aside from that, one then possesses a great one is competent in accomplishing one's goals. You will follow through on your plans and make them happen, accomplish them. So even in this life, we will make things happen successfully and we experience happiness. And that's what we want. We all want to experience happiness. And in order to be happy, we certainly have to accumulate merit. So that entails some, some hardships, some hard work. For example, in this life, we might live, let's say, 100 years or so. And our entire life, how hard do we work only for this life? Since we are very young as children, we start learning things, studying, and then later we find the job and we work really hard, all for this life. And that is if we can stay for 100 years or so. And then, of course, it goes without saying that if we want to be born in Dewachen, we also have to make such an effort in accumulating merit. Because we can even do it for the worldly things that are only for this life. But then once you are born in Dewachen, actually, you will experience great bliss and happiness endlessly and for millions and billions of years. And there will be no more difficulty. And so that is why, of course, if we are willing to work hard and make effort for worldly things, of course, we have to make an effort to be born in Dewachen. And so then regarding the way to make an effort, we practice the skillful path of skillful means. which mainly consists of practicing the 7 branches. And so through the 7 branches, we accumulate merit and we purify the obscurations.
Tatara teni yinla donde ngaranso ti chupan burwe yinla sansarwe yinla shakpo yinla shakpo yinla teni karido shakpo yinla shakpo yinla teni jisiri yarangwa yinla chujun kolo kolo sowande pe yinla kanyang yin mandaba yupa yinla sowande pe yinla teni che kare tarate ngobi yinla dun yungdwa ti yinla dun de kare chine yungko yore sena rang ngarang su ju la teni nyomumpa chita nyomumpa mangbo yore nyomumpa jesi jitong sigidwa mangbo yore sul te du yungwa yina rapa sul du yungwa yina teni ko nyomumpa dun pena danzin dungbo rao teni tela ta ko yinla mge onyo mo ba dun yung do pena ngarang so ngajar oya ta ngajar yu pa tela tini ti ngajar te chung indi tini te nimpo tela tini sansabi nas tini tara senna tan chakpa tini te chung indi tini ti nimpo tela tini chupambo ya ta jimba tanya yinla te yungu kuku pena natsan roji ina natsa tele mi riri yungu duwa natsa riri mi riri o te tab tara nyu ranju li yubi tini nyomumba dun tela tini tegi nyingpo min rao tini yinla dun te yungu yore si teni tini dikpa ke nyingpo tini dikpa te pa tagor te jangor teni tele shakpa si tan dona te tab tini pena chado ki nyingpo tan ende tini tegi nimbo tele tini jisi yorangwa ta te tabi tini koyin la riri yungu yores te nga tsu tes hako na yapo yores
So the 7 branches. The 7 branches consist of the branch of prostration, of offerings, making offerings, confession, rejoicing, requesting to turn the wheel of Dharma, supplicating to not pass into nirvana, and to dedicate the virtue. So the reason why we make these offerings is, of course, because our mind is filled with afflictive emotions. There are so many afflictive emotions in our mind. We speak about 84,000 afflictive emotions. But if we condense them into their coarse forms, there are 7 main afflictions. And really, self-grasping is like the trunk, like the main trunk of a tree. And then the other afflictions are like the branches that branch off of the trunk, of the trunk of self-grasping. So first, for example, there is the affliction of pride, and pride is recognized as a fault, and therefore we apply an antidote. The antidote to pride is to offer prostration. Then there is attachment and stinginess or greed, which also is a fault. And the antidote to that is to make offerings and to be generous. And so far, it's just like being sick and taking a medicine. So each sickness has a specific medicine that you need to cure it. And so similarly, there is a method for each afflictive emotion, for each of those 7 coarse afflictive emotions, which are like the sickness. And then the 7 branches are like the medicine that heals that sickness. And so then, for example, we confess as an antidote to our negativity and so on. And then we rejoice as an antidote to jealousy. So basically, each branch targets certain afflictive emotion. It would be good if we would have at least some understanding of that.
teni Tara to mug in politini, chujun coloko, so on the pa. Looked in pola, the Nico young in the mandapa, you so on the pa. The Nick Tetong in politino, what, moonlams, the data with the Mirangi Julatara. Mageba, relating imported this in imported in the Mayung was. That Jadam Mageva Tamjin Jungkung Jungzan Rode ko Tumuk Senanda, dancing senata, Titin ma Yunguyores, Tinitan imported and Tinaki, Tintumna, Tinitas Pinto Yunguyores. Then the Tara San Sarva de San Sargubati, Karitin Yunguyores. Ngaranza Tara Titidina Nasho Tarang a packet Chogana Tara Dema Chupanan doa. Tinana say in La Dumbatilla, Regan the Tinima, Yunkodoas, Tinitini Robson, Casar Chena Riva.
And so then there's the antidote to ignorance, which is to request to turn the wheel of Dharma. And then there is the antidote to wrong views, which is to request to not pass into nirvana, but to continue to remain. And then finally, there's an antidote to doubt and grasping. And for that, we dedicate our roots of virtue. So basically, we have negativities in our mind. And so for each of these negativities, we have a specific antidote. And the source of all the negativities, the origin are the afflictive emotions, is self-grasping or is ignorance. And from that, the afflictive emotions arise. So each of the 7 branches is an antidote to a certain affliction, and it would be good to rely on each of them as they arise. And so in the sadhana, that 7 branches are on page 10, and I'm going to go briefly through each of them. Could we show the sadhana on the screen?
So good to some you by Jarva Seje, Tamjela, Kuni Tama, Chancellor, Sondoas. Then the so you but Sanji Tamji Jig Dupetini, Dani, Sanji, Pamela, Tenanga, so thing was in Chogore. Tene, Ta Pamela, Range, Lunga Yesum Gonetini, Kupa Chimbugoni, Sansago Yores. So Sansan, Sanji, Pamela, Sansago Yores, and Sanji, Paming as Sansaya Reva Kayumar. Yena Rangi Jugetara, Tarangajati Mashogo was. Rangi Jula, Naja Yuna. Najar telatine tene rangi jula tene chuji sinlam yan jukuyo mare pena ngana lobjong do chi sigo yona loma chi la ngajar chao yona loma gegin la kuyap chi tsunjo sigi marwa telatine tene lobjong yapo yongo mare pena ngana su chi de sungu do ngajar chi kongwa la yongting ge chu ma cha sungu do tene ngajar ti yune zone tene Muggy Hika no Chiyura Hika te Yakoyo Mare. Mun Nawal Manrojo. Roa Namju Nanas Machiki Chila and Najat Saudu, Lagudo Gahumandoa. Jitin Chutona among Najat Sauyuna, the Gahumandoa. Caris Najet Cochunre. Jun in Zang, Tenite Papango. Te Pang Dita, Te Kinimbo, Kuyapsia. Roa. Naga same with any Kuyap Sunjosia. Liju Gona, Kuyap Sunjosin, Tap, Yakonjosum, Yo Coman and Latini, Naga Sansa. Roa. Ta Ranganda Tete Tamjela, Pat Zunjo, the Kuyapsia. Naliman Yam Maayuna, De Tamjela Passam Jonsia, Roa. They indigenous Rangi Jude, sir. Pajang say to do a Pajang indigenous June, Najat Pajangur. So Mashika Yapochi, Kuyapsi Shini, Namjo Yapotin Shini, Roa, Sem Zangma, Yojima imba, Majin Yarabsia. Oh, Najasinata, Najak Nimbo to Chagayores. The Nea Conchosum, the Lunga is and Kupachimbugon, the Sansarwas.
So it begins by saying, with sincere faith, I pay homage to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas abiding in the 10 directions in 3 times. So first we pay homage with respect to the Buddha Amitabha and the Buddhas of the 3 times, who is the embodiment of all the Buddhas of the 3 times too. And so it is not the case that Amitabha has a need for us to prostrate to him. It's not like he wants us to prostrate to him. He doesn't hope that we do that. But the reason why we prostrate to him is in order to destroy the pride in our mind. Because for as long as we are prideful, the blessings of the Dharma cannot enter our mind. For example, if you think of a disciple, if a disciple is very prideful, then that disciple will not be very respectful. And if you're not very respectful, then clearly the qualities won't enter your mind. The knowledge will not be receptive for receiving the qualities of the guru if you're too puffed up with pride. It is said that a prideful mind is like kind of can upside down a vessel, so no qualities can enter it, nothing can be poured into it. And so then, because of that, because we are a pride on the basis, that leads then to a very bad character in people, and just a very unpleasant character. And for example, like when you think of, often we speak about people and we say, oh, this person has so much pride. We say things like that. We just don't like those kind of people if they're so proud. Even in normal society, we don't like that. And that is because there's a great fault in pride, and it needs to be abandoned. And then, so the way to abandon it is to apply the antidote of paying respect. So we pay respect with our mind. We are humble in our mind, and with our bodies, we bow down. We show respect to the Guru and to the 3 jewels and to Amitabha. And so then when we respect others, then a person who is respectful, a humble person, is somebody with a good character, somebody who cares for others, who treats them with tenderness, with kindness. And so this is what happens when we purify the mind from mind. And we become of a good character, a respectful, humble person with a really pure heart, a pure intention, without leading others around, without manipulating others, completely straightforward and courteous. So this is what happens when we have purified pride. And so therefore we must apply the antidote to pride, which is to pay respect, to bow down to the 3 jewels and to the Buddha Amitabha.
Chupambarwate, Tatsinandana Mara, Meto Dubu Marmet, Herzero Molaso, Unju Yi, Junimba, Papusoji, Jesus sauce. Dayang, Conjosum, Chupa Mabum Burkuduas, Chupatara, Dan Chupze, Usun Jordepa, Tene, Yij Trupa, Dan Dorden Chupze Ring Ramada Mambo, Yapur. Te Tamjeta, Conchosum, Google Yure, Sena, Conchosum, Gonan at Purgomare. Carre Sena, Maransol Gore. Maransol Carre Goran, Sunam Goyero. Oh, Sunam Sas Hing, Chod the Chupatea, Conchosum Indu, that Benetran Caps Baba, Sanji, Obama Tabletin, Ansoya, Chupa Sanja Machaba Puraina, oh, Teletine, Tangalatin is Unam Topuyres. Da te mapurna karechini chungyungu resenas. Dan dordina purgoya jimsinte so tambo rani la tara rangi tara semna lo la tara ngazu senna se chidwa. Senna tan chakpa se. Senna the chapa data ma sugar, Yamana chunrogo, Ya Rablina me pachaga, Rava, they marina ma yunga chungur. Senna the chapa yubalatine, the name around some koala corde batea, ko Senna the chapake corduas. Slapat tara, Naranzo ten the lion che, Juno lomju me deba, Yunkudua, bed sawa, Katsijina, Drumataba, Roa. They tamjia, Munsuna masa. Senake, Jing, Tiningange, Sunamsa, Matabritine, Tene Tataya, Tata Lundelayan, Kopango Chade, but Tendu Yungudua. Kakeyan, Junon Timber Yuna, Hajang Senna, Yuna Soso, Longs Ju Matabach, Riva, Journey Longs Ju Madava, Rivanga, so Long Ju Mawa, Seta, Donna Samaya Posamawa, Soso Gonsoa Long Ju Yapotang Marava. Then the Senna Hajang, Junor Yuja, then the same Senna Jing the Euro. Ko Mashajang, Shuyo Madde, Mashal Moon ko Yadana, which Chadir, Sim ko Yada Chadeta, Lons Ju Matabariva. Oh, Lons Ju Matabit, Senna, Courage in Juman, Senari. That take Sen Dilla and Noko Yore, then you are some Anthony take ko Yadala Chin Rodua. Then they papango sunny, Taya conjosunet in Chupa Pogudua. 다 건조선은 주박의 젠 라므라도 다 항아서 추미 망보 버 메토 망보 버다 신토 단테는 알아서 따라 버스코트 세면에 단도든 사처링 망보 야프리아 알아서 따라 또 망보 푸게요. 때 가르치 푸게요세나 알아서 소남 사고 무슨 때니 대표요레스 대충 아주 하고가 하마오는 캔서 단 주미 망보지 빠그도 대 하마오는 코 톨란로지 낭시로 주미 망보지 메타당 메도 망보지 대가 점지 야상 샤마카기는 마토 괜히 다 괜히 차도 대 하고와 얘는 짐신 하고와 얘는 대가 고조스는 당한 주부제로 나랑 샘장마 대바 단한 거네 나랑 메도를 빼 가요라 대 약혼 주스는 나랑 추미를 가요라 약혼 주스는 나랑 로모드 단람을 가요라 대소야 약혼 주스는 피 그러봐 되기 때문에 나가 샘게 되니 다 됐지 센나드랑 인디 충루 배는 나랑서 다 배는 따라 메도라고 지 푸아이나 나랑서 중지보 토부 요리스기도 와 then 남주 나랑 속에 따라 줄 삼아 마땅와 전에 다다 내요 다다 나랑 게 다지 동보 주보이나리 동바이나 다 주제 남바조에 휴진 배설 지겨요 봐 이나야 담보 히라미네 히라 조고야도 개만도 이나 배설 휴비 지겨요 와스 당문에 중지바 고나 남바야 보고요나 다지랑 야콘쇼스는 메도 푸고도 메도 풀 때는 푸발 때는 되네 따라 중지바 타고 요리선 거도 막하기를 시랍 남주 빼요. 그러와. 단 직팀 비시랍란 직팀 비시랍. 가래지는 요. 춤에 빠발을 뛰네. 근데 시랍 남주 요라. 그래서 그 수남 그 내고 때문에 되는 저 연구도 와시. 가게를 전원 남주 토바미 봐도 가래지는. 저쪽에 땅 안서 샤젤라 소바도 소야. 푸발을 때는 저 연구도 와시. 가게를 빼 할이야 게 힘봐도 빈점랭 빼 이바게라 침부 차거도 가래지는 코란솔 다르게 힘부 차거요. 나서 멋지바리데 격게인라고 문도 먹은 통지단라고 문도 가래지는 기왕만 소남사 송아리 소남 가래사 다 롤모그래야 건조스는 주바편에 되는 텔레테네 다라 륜들에 되는 게 힘부 톱데바 근데 연구도 와시. 다른 안에서 디 올림픽 리스터 캔디 토도아 올림픽 리스터는
올림픽
되는 카케 람삼페 안당보시 따마트서 라로니 망보도 리스터 좀 초도 좀 빼쉬도 가래진 무마 소남사 안데 되네 다를 리테네 때 미인거 되네 되네 코란도 제반 파는 되네 시기 따마라고도 왔어 Kashi talo yan si tamara sanangara dendri jigidwa. Te ko sunam de ngwa tes jachir tang. Kashi yan lo chil ko keda cha si tamara na lo yuma ra gam do. Gare jin chu sunam churan tingma che ra ya sunam sa yor. Dene yan sunam se chadu yan chiran te yan jo chiran keda de ta tama ni ba sum ba chin ma do tu ma do. Te gare jin chebar jugu yor sen te nga ge tambo geba tsawa te ma ngwa chi tang te ne ni chebar jugu yor. Kashi ge tambo 공홍 게 되니야 배 하장 게 자침보이 되니 뭐야 자침보 세요나 오 다른 루틴들라야 되니 깨다 산지 마차파 톱 가드유는 톱 되니 깨와 스마 톱 되니 rum파긴데 산지지 공방 톱는 주니 소나 조 말하버던 용어도 카히야 소남 싸요리데 양고 종로에 지은 거 대당 뭐와당 미박 제박 되니 데이터 연구를 해서도 하시 근데 되는 거 하나서 다 수남 싸고레스 나랑서 따라 소소 파마 긴공도 지인한다 소소 배 버축 다 보고도 럽정 지거래 럽정 지고 시위 속자거다 로아테 저당 다 가르치는 지 레가 야보라야 럽정 야보요나 레가 야보라 되게 미요 잠리 운이군 오 구글 수남 싸고리다 수남 싸고리다 세 시라면도 왔어 운에 고나 대지 엄마한테 가와네 영어는 수남 그든 영어도 가르치 나랑서 레짐리 켈리니 샤다 인도 땡우 본네 척던데 왔어 안데 다 수남 싸고 럽주는 지거는 매절 지거리 인데 로와 인에 수남에 싸고레스 대한 매절 지거레스 니야 찾아시잖아 그래 근데 텔레티네 테니 배친들라인 지바 제와 스마인 지바 근데 대답이 거요레스
So we can turn to the next page. So then next is the offering. I offer flowers, incense, lamps, fragrances, food, music, and the like, actually arranged and mentally created. Supreme Gathering, please accept them. And so now next we are making offerings to the three jewels, and there we often make many offerings to the three jewels. And so there are actually arranged offerings, and then there are mentally created offerings. There's all kinds of offerings that we make. And so why are we making these offerings to the three jewels? Is it because the three jewels want those things from us? So that is not why we are making the offerings. It's for ourselves. We are really making them for ourselves. And how they are for ourselves is that we need the merit. We need to accumulate merit. And it is said that the best way to accumulate merit, the best field of merit, is the three jewels. And so therefore we make these inconceivable offerings to Amitabha now in this context here. And in this way we accumulate merit. So then, so we need to think about what's the benefit, what's the reason of making offerings, and what would be the fault of not being generous. So the reason why we make offerings is because in our mind there is stinginess and attachment, and that needs to be diminished. It needs, ideally, we get rid of it completely, or at least we have to lessen it somewhat, reduce some of our stinginess and attachment, our greed. It is because of the attachment that we continue to wander in samsara. So if we, and as we wander in samsara, so for example, there are some people that no matter what they do in their life, things just never really turn out well. No matter how hard they work, things just never go according to the intention. And that is because they have not created merit in a previous life. That is why now in this life, they are very poor, like a beggar. It's because they have been stingy and they're holding back and they don't want to give away in previous lives. And some people also, well, some people don't have anything. And then there are some people who have some things, but they are very stingy. And even though they actually have things, they have resources, they never actually enjoy those resources. They never really use those resources. For example, they don't really spend it on proper food to eat, or have make a good living and so on. Everything they want to hold back, and it's this stinginess, this not wanting to let go, is like that binds their mind, it ties down their minds. And actually these people, even though they have things but they never actually use those things, is actually they already have become, their mind already has become like a hungry spirit even before they have died, because they never actually enjoy any of their things. And why? It's because they are stingy, and that causes a lot of harm in this life. And then in next lives, one takes birth as a hungry spirit. So that needs to be abandoned, and it is abandoned by making offerings to the three jewels. And there is various different offering substances. So, for example, we offer light, like lamp offerings, and we offer flowers, or we offer food offerings of fruit or biscuits and so on. Many things that we can offer. So, and the reason why we offer those things is in order to accumulate merit. And that's important to understand, because if you don't understand that, then you maybe you would feel that that's so strange. Like, why are they offering all these butter lamps, for example? You might feel like this is a real waste. They're burning all of these butter lamps, and then they're all gone, or they're putting up all of these flowers, and after a few days they just throw it into the garbage. So if you don't understand why that is done, you might think that's a huge waste. But if you understand why this is done, you understand that it has actually a great result. There's a great significance to making offerings to the three jewels. And if they are made with a pure heart and faith in the three jewels, a pure intention. So, for example, you're giving away whatever you like yourself. So if you like flowers, then you're offering flowers. If you like light, like lamp and light offerings, then you offer that. And if you like musical instruments and so on, or music, then you make a music offering to the three jewels. And if you give things away in that way, then naturally the stinginess will diminish. And then each of these offerings has a certain result. So for example, if you're making flower offerings, if you're offering flowers, it is said that as a result, you will obtain a beautiful body. And so nowadays, normally ordinary people, we don't really think about the causes, what causes our happiness. We just want the results. So for example, we want to look really beautiful. We want to have a good body, and we want to have a beautiful face. And actually, we already have what we have in terms of our appearance, but still we try to look even nicer and make ourselves look really good. And we still do that. So actually, if you really want to have a good appearance, then you should make flower offerings to the three jewels. Or for example, there are some people who are really very intelligent. They're super bright. And that's not a worldly intelligence, a worldly wisdom. And why are they so intelligent? It is because they have made offerings of lamp offerings, butter lamp offerings in previous lives. So that also comes from merit. Or for example, there are some who are so rich, their wealth is really inexhaustible, endless. And that is the result of having made food offerings, for example. Or for example, there are some people that have a really beautiful voice, like singers and so on, that become really famous in the world. And if you think about it, actually, we are the same in terms of your people, but still our voice is not like that, is it? And they have this beautiful voice, and everybody listens to them, and they become really famous. And why is that? That is also from the merit of having made musical offerings to the jewels and so on in previous lives. So if you make musical offerings, then we will have a beautiful voice. Or for example, if you think about like the Olympic Games that are going on, there are some athletes that are like very talented, and immediately at the first go they already earn a golden medal. They're just better than anybody else, just naturally, and that's also because of merit. And then there's some who have a different kind of merit, and maybe they earn the golden medal one year, but then next year they don't get it. Then somebody else gets the golden medal. And so that is because they have only accumulated the merit for receiving the golden medal a single time and not 2 or 3 times. So that's why they won't get it again. So why is that such a difference? Why does one only get it once and somebody else always gets it? So the reason is it lies in the aspiration and the dedication. So first, if one's motivation in the beginning is vast, and then in the end one's dedication is vast, then one's results will become inexhaustible. For example, one will become very famous for one's voice or as an athlete and so on. In this lifetime, and then also in future lifetimes, one will always again and again experience such happiness until one attains enlightenment, actually. The merit is really endless. And then for some, there is an end to the merit. It is experience and then it's gone. And so the difference lies in one's motivation and one's dedication, the merit that one has accumulated. For example, children, parents send their children to school, and they're already older, now they send their children to school, and we know how hard we want our children to do really well at school. And so then the children, why do we want that? It's because we want them to have a good life and to find a good job in the future. But then actually, no matter how much we want that for our children, also the child must have, so we actually, what we never tell our children is, oh, you should accumulate merit. We just tell them you should study, you should do this and that, but we never actually tell them you should accumulate merit. We don't say that too much, when actually all success comes from merit and nothing else. So that is also something we should keep in mind, because all of us, we all believe in karma. We understand karma, and this is really how things work. If we want things to turn out well, we have to accumulate merit for any of our activities. To go well and to be successful, we need merit. And of course, we also need to make an effort. We need to do both things. We need to work and we need to make an effort, but also we need to have that supported by the accumulation of merit. And if we do that, then we will experience happiness in this life and also in future lives.
Okay. Tini Tarayan Chupa Fu Tindisi the Che a young Che Nganso Che and Chupa Pussy Yerdela Taranganso Che Soso Kambana Nola Lang Dan Sanji Kola Sobayuna Yan Chupa Kare, Chupize Kare, and Altepa Tanangon Punia Poyores. Tini the so mean a young Diku Samaris and Tendemares. Sanji Kaduyan and Dungeon Namkara Yudu Yuas, Sanji Obama Kaduyan and Dungeon Namkara Yore. Narangi Tepa Yuna Sanji Kaduyan and Chala Yores. Then do Naranson Guru Song Tepachin, Pembio Gonya use on Nordina, Teta Pemjon Song Yore, Sanji Tamchi Tendre. Tepa Yuna and Duna Kaduna Yores. Then a Yakonjo and Chupa Pia Kare, Yinaya, the Pu. Dan Chupa Pu said, "So Karejin, Rangi Tepa Tanang Sungur." This nothing to yours. Then I'm doing an answer. So again, Chupa Z, so I am Puya, Pupaya, Lasso Butter, so lion at the Chil, Mina and Chupa, so control doing you the use, can't you but put and digger? Mina young digger, ya. Young Al Juno Mundo, not Puya, your Maris and Tanga Chazogon, Hunsuna Masati Tataya, Juno Mitini, Puya Mendoza, same park, Hungo Maris. Oh, who that had you know Mijate Chiran, Hunsuna Masapata, Tintin Re. Yene Tata Chiran, Conjosum and Dewa Chandu, 당나가 생그 때는 야 대바 다나스는 아주 운조리 이 저스 니시 초도 이 저스는 나가 파산지 못 잡이 있잖아 야 표초고 지난 셈장만 요나 무슨 푸와다 이제 저반일 제바 연구요 말이지 가르스는 코 대바 다낭세야 뒤때니니 지남려나지 토부요레스 된 남중 안에서 따라 때네 초와 접든지 되는 안에서 로모도 쪼고리다 안에서 다른 나를 저거 라서 봐요는 쪼동 그래서 지금 야 주바리도 좀 안에서 로민 주바스 또 소양 짐신신에 되는 안에서 때나 진도요로 왔어 그래서 배 개침보를 나한테 요인데 되는 마프가 있나 되는 논도 지금 직장에 랑 저노리오나 야 컨트롤은 주바 마프나 따때 나 생각 증대요 야 따라 갈때 로모라서 반다를 저걸라서 봐요는 네 좋아감는 나그 비주 마다면 이나 때세 릴로 그 정도요 아 그죠 자 거였지 그래서 이 돈한지 로모 가래나 그래서 동토리오나 그래서 야 주바 푸고레스 다양 주바 푸세인데 드네야 짐바 kun이 차례인 거래 야 콘초스는 주바 말 냠타 우르보 네바 쪼워도 소리더니 짐바다 로바탄 찍바 찍잖아 두 소리 말 로바시야 쪼 가르스나 야 콘초는 주바 푸야데 가능인 거래 대바다 하는데 거래 마 우르보는 짐바타한테 가능인 거래 삼바데 닝지 티드는 거래 대니들 니 빠뜨고 대니 요나 되는 게 따라 샘게 센나 세야 되니 센나한테 쪼리는 거도 드네 대소 내가 침보랬더니 지 준을 최종 계자 말인 주밥 먼저 이제 최종 제반 말이 샘게 때문에 쌈로 땅당했더니 드네 샘도 짱 맞아야 센나는 뒤빠줘야 착발 총는 거야 또最记得드네 또 표고요 레스 대소 좋다
So when you're making offerings, so the object of your offerings depends on your circumstance. So if you're in your house or in a temple, and then you basically set up whatever Buddha statue and so on you have, and whatever offering substances you have. But what's most important is to have a pure view and to have faith and devotion, to really want to make this offering. And so therefore, you don't need to worry about, I don't have anything. What if I don't have anything? What if I'm poor and I don't have anything to offer? Now I can't accumulate any merit. So don't think that way, because the Buddha Amitabha, first of all, is always there in the space. If you don't have any images, for example, then the Buddha Amitabha is still there. You can bring that to mind. If you really have faith and devotion, the Buddha Amitabha is actually there. So even if you don't have statues and things like that. Guru Rinpoche also had said that whoever has faith in me, I will be a lotus born, a Guru Rinpoche will be right next to them. And so that is true for all the Buddhas. They are there they're right next to you if you think of them with great devotion. And then now when you make offerings to the three jewels, so mainly when you make offerings, an offering is an expression of your faith, of your veneration, of your pure view. That's why you make the offerings, because you feel this veneration in your heart. And then you make different offerings. There's various offering substances, or you burn incense and so on, depending on where you are. And so if there's no representation, you can think that the three jewels are there. And so if you don't have any offering substances, if you can't afford them, it's also fine. So you don't have to think that I'm so poor, I don't have anything. I can't give anything. I can't be generous. I can't make offerings. I can't accumulate merit. And I'm already poor because I don't have merit. And now I'm poor again. So again, I can't accumulate merit and so on. So don't think like that. You don't have to lose some heart like that. And you can still make offerings, because what's most important is your state of mind. It is your wish to make an offering. You want to make an offering. This is how you connect to the three jewels. And so, as we said, there are actually arranged and they're mentally created offerings. So mentally created means that you can bring the offerings to mind, and you can bring inconceivable offerings to mind and offer them. And the most important thing is that your intention is pure. And then there is really no difference between a material offering and a mentally created offering. It's all depends on your faith and your aspiration. And so that's for these kind of offerings. And then also normally when we practice a sadhana, there are sections in the sadhana where we play the instruments. For example, we play the damaru drum and the bell and the larger drums and so on, and the cymbals. And actually playing the instruments during the sadhana practice is also an offering. It's a music offering. And if you understand that, you will actually want to play those instruments. And it is very important, because now if you have instruments, if they're sitting there and you're not using them, you're not making this offering, that is not good. And that is also, on the one hand, it could be a sign that you are kind of tied by holding back and stinginess. But in terms of not using instruments, often it is because we are lazy, we don't want to use them. So when they're here, then they should also be used. That's really important. So you should pay some attention to that. When the instruments are sitting there, then you should also use them, because they are an offering. And when you can make the offering, then you should make the offering. When the substance is there, you have to use it. And so we speak about making offerings and being generous. And offerings are made to the higher beings, the three jewels. And then we are generous toward the ordinary sentient beings, those who are very poor, those who are very miserable or sick and so on. When we help them, that is being generous. And the benefit is exactly the same as making offerings. There's no difference at all. And so most important when we make offerings to the three jewels is to have faith and a pure perception. And most important when you are generous to the poor is that you have a mind of love and compassion for them. So that's most important. And if that is in your mind, then definitely you will free yourself from stinginess and from attachment. You just have to understand that the crucial point here, it's not about how many things you have or how big the things are. It's not about the the amount of things that you have, but it is about the purity of your heart, of your mind, your intention. And if that is pure, then you will be able to release all these knots in the mind, all these knots that tie you up, and your attachment will lessen, will decrease as time goes by and you are making offerings. So yes.
Okay, now finish time. We can reach page number 28 to 29. Just read English.
Okay. Hong, transcendent conqueror, protector, Buddha Amitabha, and noble assembly of living bodhisattvas, compassionately look upon us afflicted beings and guide us to the pure land of Sukhavati. In accord with your past bodhicitta vows, not wavering from the sacred bond, deity with great compassion, please exhaust all negative karma and empty samsara from its depths. At this very moment, please act as our guide. As I, with intense devotion, have thus invoked the enlightened mind, red light rays of compassion radiate from the heart of Amitabha and dissolve into the hearts of myself and all beings. Self-grasping, misconceptions, and delusion have collapsed in themselves. The state of selfless Dhammakaya is realized, and I rest in the nature of clarity and emptiness, free from grasping and elaboration.
Okay, page number 30. Just dedication part.
Okay. By all the limitless and sacred merit obtained through this meditation and recitation, may all beings drowning in the river of suffering attain the supreme state of Amitabha.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much, Rinpoche. Dharma brothers and sisters, before we proceed for lunch, we just have a bit of announcements for everyone. Number one is for the building fund. So we'd like to update on Gachin Rinpoche's wish on having the permanent premise in Singapore for our Dharma friends. And of course, through the generosity of many of our Dharma friends, we have finalized the property. Construction is now in progress. However, we still appeal to our Dharma friends to continue to support this project so that we can quickly materialize the complete construction of the permanent center very swiftly. My colleagues will actually put the sponsorship link at the chat where you can have a look. And in support of the construction of the permanent premise, we have prepared a limited editions of golden statues of different deities that are of very high quality, and they are very exquisite artisanal pieces. Each and every one of them, they are personally blessed by His Eminence Kachin Rinpoche and his large entourage of lamas from Gagon. And that is in year 2019, where really a large entourage of very high lamas came from Gagon. They contain extremely holy items blessed by not only our lineage masters, but also of masters of other lineages. And inside it contains mantras, the Srikaya pills, and a lot of other sacred materials like soil and water, which are very painstakingly collected from holy sites of India, Nepal, Lapchi, and Tibet. So all these are actually available in very limited quantities, and all the proceeds will be used for the construction of the new building. For more information, you can visit the website tinyurl.com/dtdl statue to bring home, which our admin will actually post it on the website. Post it on the chat. Next, we have the retreat sponsorship. So we'd like to encourage everyone to participate in the merit making opportunity for the merits of the 100 million mantras that are accumulated here. We have different kind of categories on the sponsorship, which has flowers, food, lamb, etc. But there is also a very special and auspicious token of appreciation on the precious imprints of Gachin Rinpoche. So the sponsorship amount will help to defray the operation costs of the retreat and also the centers, the Dharma centers cost. All sponsors with the minimum contribution of $100, your names will be personally blessed by Gachin Rinpoche. We rejoice in your generosity in spreading the Dharma and also bringing inconceivable benefits to all sentient beings. And here we have some pictures of when Gachin Rinpoche actually did the imprint. Of course, we have the Changchuk Puja, which will be coming up on the 9th of August. So it's now open for registration. And if you like, you may actually go into the website to register for the Changchuk for both the deceased and also for the living for blessings. Before we break for lunch, we have the mantra submission reminder. So during lunchtime itself, if you are reciting the mantra, please do accumulate them, count them, and send it over and submit them on amidewa-retreat.com. This link will also be posted by our admin in the chat room. Next, we will have a video that actually shows the history and the past activities of Griga Tukden Dargeling since the setup in 2017. And that is when Gachin Rinpoche actually wanted to set up a Dharma center in Singapore for our Singapore disciples. And he sent his best monk, that's what he said, Dorzin Rinpoche, to oversee all the operations since then. And in the video itself, you can find really memories from long time ago, from the starting of Amidewa retreat from the past years, the many retreats that we have over the years, and even moving of the center from a temporarily humble premise to a rented premise, and now to a permanent premise next year. So the Dharma Center was actually set up in 2007, where that's when Gachin Rinpoche came to Singapore, and he wanted to set this up. Again, in the video itself, there are many volunteers who have grown with us, who have actually been supporting the center all this time. And we also see Dorzin Rinpoche, about more than 10 years ago. So there are also many pictures of supporting masters who have taught in our centers, who have visited our centers. So we hope you enjoy this video and journey with us together, and there are many more years to come. We'll now proceed for our lunch break. The Zoom room will remain open. Do return by 1:55, where we'll prepare for our next session. Thank you, and please enjoy the video clip that we have specially prepared for you.